Hello, everybody. My name is Rachel Silber, and since this is so impromptu, nobody knows I'm on live. So give me a quick sec. I'm just going to. I realize I didn't stream to my page, so I will. One moment. Um, Somewhere. Oh, there I am. I'm live over here. Um, Give me a quick moment. Oh, here's my page. I was wondering about that. Okay, which one? This one. And my own page. There we go. That way I can play with my friends and I can see you guys and you can see me and all of that good stuff because I didn't let anybody know that I'm going live. I didn't even know I was going live. So how does it get even better than that? um, so I'm here. Um, After a very challenging, interesting day, and Kitty Cat's here to contribute, um, with an interesting topic. I heard someone speaking earlier today asking me questions about how can they make a different choice if this is what they've already chosen. Like, if they've already chosen something in the past, what gives them the space, the possibility, the choice to see, to be, to choose, to experiment, to experience something entirely different? And this has come up in conversation actually loads of times. I remember going to visit my son's school in Israel, and several of the teenage kids that were there said, "But I mean, I have to, be promiscuous, or I have to be whatever because I've been told I'm a bad girl, or I've been told that, you know, this is all I deserve." And I've heard this over and over. I've also seen people who say, um, sorry, I'm just putting the links down below in case you don't know. Not only is my name Rachel Silber, but I'm also a certified facilitator of Access Consciousness, which is a body of tools, questions, possibilities to gift you the space of you knowing that you know and the ability to choose whatever it is that you'd like to choose, empowering you to know that you know. And that's been the hugest gift of Access Consciousness for me. Trusting myself, having my own back. And that ties right back to, if we've chosen something once, okay, we've chosen it. We can keep punishing ourselves for whatever it is that we've chosen. We can, use a whip and punish ourselves for whatever it is that we had experienced, whatever it is that's gone on. Like that kid who I think was 16 at the time or 17, where she thought she had no choice but to behave in a particular way, in this case, in relationships. Um, but I mean, at 16, your entire life is ahead of you. You can choose so much more. And I gave her the metaphor of driving a car. I said, what you chose before is already behind you. It's back there. When you drive a car, you don't look at your future, at what's in the road in front of you by turning your head and, looking in the back, or even staring out at the rear view mirror and trying to go forwards while constantly looking backwards. That's what happens when we keep comparing ourselves to the past, looking to the past, judging ourselves by the past, um, and not looking at what's the gift right here and right now, and what can I choose that's actually going to work for me. And the gift for me of the Access Consciousness tools is that in these tools is the freedom to create a greater future. And who wouldn't want that? you know, I mean, okay, so some people wouldn't, because there are some people who prefer, I don't know, death, dying, pain, suffering, whatever, and that's okay. Everyone gets to live the life that they're choosing. The thing is, so many people do not recognize, do not believe that they truly have a choice. And it's fascinating to me how much we give up of our creative capacities in order to choose according to what we've already predetermined is the correct way to be, or is the only thing that we deserve based on something that we've experienced before. So it's fascinating to me. I was reading something somewhere, I can't quite remember what or where, um, but I was fascinated because it spoke about babies being this original, soft, open, moldable, joyful energy. A kid, being a little kid, doesn't look at, oh my goodness, I wet my diaper, therefore I don't deserve mommy's or daddy's love. A kid doesn't look at, I'm black or I'm white or I'm Jewish or I'm Muslim. A kid doesn't look at um, any form of separation. A kid just looks at, oh, wow, what do I get to learn, explore, experiment, and be? How much more present can I be now? The gift of being around baby is not only do you get to see that lovability, that joyfulness, that warmth, that curiosity, that presence that they be, but they kind of show you yours. I don't know if you guys have ever been around a baby, but sometimes I get in front of a baby and I make little funny noises, and I do speak to them like grown-ups as well. You know, like, hey, are you hungry? Would you like to eat? Or what's going on here? Because they are little people. They're actually big people. They're infinite beings in little tiny bodies. So I don't, you know, treat them like they don't know anything. They're beings just like us. They know. But look at the softness that they be, the openness that they be, the welcoming that they be with everything. How much do we learn to keep suffering our past? How much do we learn, really, to keep suffering, or that life is about suffering? And what if we didn't have to keep that up? What if we could look at that and go, okay, that's whatever I chose up to now is what I chose up to now. It gifted to me awareness. It gifted to me the willingness to know what works for me and what doesn't. It gifted me information. For example, I was married before to a different guy that I dated all through college. And one of the greatest gifts that he could have given me was to have an affair and for us to get divorced, because otherwise I wasn't going to get out of that relationship. Because for me, it was a choice that I made and that I had to keep up. How many choices have you made that you feel that you have to keep up? And what would it be like if you would be willing to look at them and go, does this still work for me? Where am I in my life and living? And if I were willing to create a greater future now, what would I prefer to choose? Like, what is the situation that I'm in front of at the moment? What would I prefer? What would I like? We're never, interesting choice of words, actually. We are not at the effect of anything and everything that we'd experienced before, no matter what this world tells you. No matter what this world says, oh, this quote unquote happened to you, and therefore this is going to mean such and such about you. No, you always have choice. No diagnosis is for life. No uh, way of looking at things is the only way. There are so many points of view. If you think of it as a sphere, this 360 degrees round in a circle, multiply that by all the other little circles that are going around, and you get this amazingly complex sphere of possibilities. And there's so much more available. What if there are even 3 possibilities available for anything that you've deemed as a problem? And for each one of those possibilities, what if there's 3 more possibilities that are available there? What if we'd stop pigeonholing ourselves into what we've defined as a problem, and rather than being confined to whatever that is, actually be willing to look beyond, We can't look beyond things by trying to stuff them, by trying to fix them, by trying to punish ourselves for whatever we think we may have been or done. But we can create a different space for new possibilities to arise when we're willing. That's interesting. I saw something in the reference materials. Hang on. Um, when we're willing to allow space in, I love this. I was preparing. I'm reading reference materials tomorrow morning. Anybody who enjoys the Access Consciousness classes and has taken a choice of possibilities class, in other words, the Access bars, the Access Foundation, and the Access Choice of Possibilities, is invited to purchase a set of the reference materials. So anything and everything that's from, I don't know, like 2002, 2005, something like that, things that have been taken out of the manuals through the years, are added into the reference materials, and we read a lot of interesting things there. There was something that I saw that I thought was particularly interesting, the way it was phrased, and I'm prepping my reading for tomorrow morning. So um, let me see if I see it here. Yeah. Uh, There is an implanted dream that once you can find the why of all of your wrongnesses, you will finally stop feeling wrong. How often do we search to fix rather than celebrate that we made a choice and that we've got the freedom to be able to choose another one? Rather than sharing, be willing to be the joyful, impossible inspiration. And once you get there, you'll see that impossible, this is what I love. Impossible stretches to become I'm possible. Stretches meaning there is space now inserted in between those letters, in between the experience, and something else becomes available. Something else is noticed, something else is seen. And when you give space, now is the space, Dr. Dane here says, and the space is now. Google his YouTube video, Now is the Space. It's some of the yummiest 3.5 minutes of your life. It's delightful to listen to. And the invitation to bring space into everything, for me, takes me out of the mental chatter, takes me out of the polarity of right and wrong and good and bad, takes me out of that, and it stretches into more space. When you stretch into more space, there is more available for you to play with. It's one of the reasons that I've so enjoyed during the months of September and October. On Wednesdays, we've got last one is tomorrow because it is going to be the 27th tomorrow of October. But we've gotten together every Wednesday for 30 minutes, 40 minutes, whatever it ends up being, of symphony group tasters. So we play with the energies of the symphony. What is a symphony of possibilities? It's a way of walking and being and moving in the world, knowing that something else is possible and available beyond what anybody else says is so real and true. You can almost look in between what seems so solid and real and find those little spaces that then you can begin to stretch. Find those little nooks and crannies where things begin to shift. Now, this is not a one-on-one session. It is a symphony group taster. So there's several of us that get together from around the world, and it's delightful and it's delicious, and we never know where it's going to go or what's going to be said or what energy is going to present itself, but we follow what is and we go with the flow, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And it's a huge gift. And if you'd like to participate, tomorrow is the last of the live ones for what I was doing in September and October. When Access Consciousness had the You Are Not Alone campaign, I offered to do these weekly get-togethers. Tomorrow at Dr. Dane is going live from 10 to 11:30 my time, so it is going to be happening at 11:30 my time. I'm in Central America at the moment, so it would be 12:30 Houston time, if anybody looks at it that way. But regardless, if you sign up today, I will send a reminder email with all the details and the Zoom links, etc. You are definitely invited. And the beautiful thing is, if you look at it this way, one of the choices we make, we come in from babyhood, we don't have a language. They say mother tongue. Why? Because we learn it from a parent. Hey, we learn it from the society that's around us. We learn our prejudices, our points of views, our beliefs from everybody around us. We are better than somebody else. We are different than somebody else. This is what is done and this is what isn't. Says who? What if we be willing to look at what is possible now that's never been possible before, simply because I'm willing to choose it? What is available that's never been available before, because I'm willing to see and to be a different possibility out there in the world. Let me see. I'm playing with the light because I got these lights. I got these halos, but instead of being right here on my head, they're right in my glasses, and I'm still not used to how to deal with that. So, oh wow. There we go. Maybe that's better. So it's interesting. It used to be that if something wasn't, perfect, and how one would present, and how something would show up, that's a choice that I used to make. I would stop myself. I absolutely refused to go live. Oh my goodness, I didn't put on lipstick. Now I'm just showing up and willing to play in life. To play in life and living, to choose what's going to create greater in the moment. But we cannot do that, nor could I ever do that, if I'm so busy trying to judge myself. But just like babies, they don't judge. They just show up and they're happy to play with anybody. Look at a bunch of kids in like a baby care or toddler time. I remember taking my kids to the Children's Museum and having them play. Go, airplane, go. Safe travels. So I remember having the kids play on the mats, and everybody played together. Black, white, Hispanic, made no difference. Oriental, no problem. Everybody sucked on the same toys, pulled toys out of one another's hands. They giggled, they crawled around each other. That's the joy of being. Where did we forget that? And I was going to mother tongue. I have this ADD brain. It goes in 1,000 directions at once. So forgive me, bear with me. All sorts of magic unfolds that way. But interestingly, with mother tongue, we have this predetermination of these words I'm willing to receive, these concepts I'm willing to receive, these sounds I'm willing to receive or to make. But those other ones, and not so much. How much do we miss out on by not being willing to receive everything? See, when we're willing to receive, all sorts of magic can show up. Receiving isn't really a problem, whether it be money or anything else. What our quote unquote issue is, that we've issued to ourselves, is our refusal. What are you refusing to perceive, to know, to be, to receive? That if you would stop refusing it, stop rejecting it, stop defending for or against it, would gift you a space of possibilities, would gift you this ease and freedom and fluidity and being and living that you just wouldn't have otherwise. I see, and I've had the experience, some of it pleasure, some of it not so much, of having my parents visiting, and to see the nuances, the difference between an open mind and one that is not so open, is fascinating. How much do we contract and rigidify what we're allowing ourselves to receive, the movements we're allowing ourselves to have, versus how much do we contract, compress, refuse, reject, and rigidify. And how much more ease would we have in our life and living if we wouldn't be fighting everything and everyone? What if this is a friendly universe? What if the universe really does have our back? What if everything is out here attempting to contribute to us, and it is us that filter out yes or no, willing to receive or no? It's coming in the language that I would like, the accent that I would like, or not. But am I willing to truly receive? And if we're willing to truly receive, our entire experience on this planet is different. There is nothing like it in the world. There's an adventure to living. There's a zest, a gloriousness, exuberance of living, of being alive. There's so much available when we're willing to embrace life and living, versus when we look at the world and our point of view really determines our reality. So when we're looking at the world as if it's a fight, it's a struggle, it's difficult, life sucks, our point of view creates that too. So what would we like to have for our future? And not just for our future, what would we like to have right now? And the very same situation, when you look at it with eyes of graciousness, allowance, relaxation, looks entirely different than when you're in this conflicted fight or flight. We're not our past. We're not whatever we've been or done before. I was diagnosed in college as bipolar. I was medicated profusely. I had lots and lots of injections in my arms, getting lithium and all. I had no idea that there may be some nuances to me where I've got my ups and downs, but that's part of living. Kind of like the weather, I guess. We all have moods. It's natural. And the thing is that if I label something and if I make it bigger than me, then that thing becomes something that I cannot face and I cannot change. And oh my God, I'm at the effect of it. But is that really true? Or do I have choice in every moment? One of the greatest gifts for me over the last couple of years has been this relaxation into being and actually just easing into just being present with what is. So many people keep looking for, give me the right tool, give me the right clearing, give me the right way to deal with this, or to say the right thing to say, because this one thing's going to change everything. And I'd like to invite you to see that it is so much more than that. It's you that's the magic wand in your life. And your willingness to know that you are amazing beyond your wildest dreams. You're miraculous beyond your wildest dreams. Anything and everything that you have chosen up to now and that you've experienced up to now and that you've been labeled by anyone. I was told I'd have to be on antidepressants my entire life. I haven't taken any for, I don't know, like 18 years. Just not relevant anymore. How much is not relevant in your life that you have made relevant? If you'd be willing to recognize that you are so much more than you've ever imagined before, then the world opens up to you. It becomes very different than the world that most people live in. It becomes a world of something else is possible. Even when the shit hits the fan, and it does for many of us. But you know what? You have a better way of dealing with it. You have a different way of dealing with it. And you recognize that you've got tools. I've said so many times, I love the Access Consciousness tools so much. I use them every day and in every moment. I've got reminders of them. I don't know if you could see, but I've got reminders of them on my arm. So I've got W, then E, IP. So that stands for what else is possible. Right? That's one of my favorite questions. I've got the word choose next to it. Choose. What else is possible? Willing to live in a world of possibilities. One thing that I know, oops, let's see if you can see it, is that we are all magic and miracles. Almost looks like two boobies. Um, got magic and miracles in there to remind me. And inside my E, I've got J and G. Ease, joy, and glory. The mantra of Access Consciousness is about receiving everything. Literally, arms open, receiving everything. All of life comes with ease, joy, and glory. We chose that. Awesome. It was what it was. It brought us to right here and right now. And now, with wisdom, with the experience, with the ability to see what works for me and what isn't, I can make a different choice. So I can keep judging myself. I can keep castigándome. I can keep punishing myself. Or I can recognize that I can make a different choice. And so I've got that always, to remember this isn't a tattoo. Yeah, every day it comes out a little bit different. But I write certain tools because you know what? These tools become a part of you. And I take a few moments with myself every morning and I write little reminders for myself so that when the shit hits the fan, I remember that I have tools that I can use, questions that I can ask, a mantra that I can repeat. All of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. And that shows me that I have a choice in every moment. I can get frazzled. I can panic. I can be upset. I can keep banging my head against the wall. Or I can say, okay, you know what? Doing that over and over brought me that same result. What could I choose now that's different? And that's part of all of life comes to us with ease, joy, and glory. We ask a question. We follow the lightness. We wonder, how does it get any better? What else is possible? Nobody else can live your life for you. You get to live it. It is not an outside in kind of a world. It is an inside out world. The way you look at the world is how you create your reality. Your experience is predetermined by the glasses, the filters of your points of view. If they're blue, everything will look blue. If they're, blurry, fuzzy, or all scratched up, it'll look that way too. Our points of view create our reality. And the beautiful thing is, they're just points of view. What if you'd be willing to let them go? What if you'd be willing to consider another point of view? They don't have to be the only point of view that is. And I love the Einstein quote, there are two ways to live your life. One is as though nothing is a miracle. That's one point of view. And the other is as though everything is a miracle. And when you're willing to recognize, okay, not even recognize, but just be willing to be open to consider that everything is a miracle and that you are one of those everythings. You are a miracle. What else is possible that you've never considered? When you're willing to insert some space, to be willing to be grateful for everything that you've chosen up to now, and to know that you can always make a different choice, what else would be possible? Life and living changes entirely. I can tell you, when I took my first foundation class in 2011, I took 5 bars classes, I think, and a couple of foundation classes that summer. And shortly thereafter, I took what's now called the Choice of Possibilities, because I was so thirsty for knowing that something else is possible. We've been sold a bill of goods on this planet. We've been told that this is real. What if it isn't? What would you like to choose? If you were willing to be open to seeing that something else is available, how much more could you not only receive, but even perceive around you? So I wonder, what do you know, without being stuck to the specifics of what you know? Because if you know not that, what else would be possible? If you weren't stuck in beliefs and points of view, if you could look beyond all those underlying assumptions, then what would be available that you've never even imagined before? What do you know? What do you know, my beautiful friends? Like, truly, what do you know that you've been pretending not to know or denying that you know because it doesn't fit in with what anybody else knows? There is nobody else like you in the world. You are energy, you are space, and you are consciousness. You are miracle walking. You are magic walking. You're mysterious. Nobody else has lived what you've lived, done what you've done, chosen what you've chosen. Your way of looking at the world, being in the world, is entirely different than anybody else's. What gift are you that you've never, ever acknowledged? And what would be different if you would begin to acknowledge it? So anyway, I see I've chatted way longer than I originally intended to. Um, but I'm really glad that I did. It feels good to go live. I haven't in a long time. And I think I'm going to start doing weekly ones in the Space of Possibilities group. I'll be popping in there far more often to do little conversations, little clarity conversations in the group. You're welcome to join me there. There's a link for it in my Linktree link, which is below this video. There's also a link there to register for tomorrow's last of the live symphony group tasters for the You Are Not Alone campaign. And I look forward to see. Oh, and there's also starting Friday and continuing Saturday, Sunday, and Monday from Houston time, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. We're doing a foundation class. Dr. Helen Gitlovich and I are co-facilitating a foundation class. The foundation class, like I was telling you before, is where I gave up on believing that everything that I saw around me was so real and true. I began to experience a world of possibilities after my very first foundation class. And it was a little bit like having the rug pulled out from under my feet, but on the other hand, it gave me wings to begin to soar. And my life has looked completely different. The way that I be in the world, the way that I move in the world, what I choose, how I deal with things is completely different to what I would have before the first foundation class that I took 10 years ago. So you are invited to join us. It begins on Friday. The link as well is on my Linktree down below this video. Actually, it is even available here. See, it is handy to have these little banners. Anyhow, maybe next time we get together, you may have some questions, you may have some comments. I hope that this contributed to your way of looking at the world, to stop blaming yourself, to stop shaming yourself, to stop beating yourself up for what was and start choosing for what can be. Thank you, and have a beautiful evening. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks. Bye.